Hey, how's it going? Nick here. I figured now is as good a time as any to dig into the engine for the CT200. If you haven't seen my previous video on this bike, it's the precursor to the CT90, and this one doesn't like to start very easily and it doesn't like to stay running very long, so I'm going to dig into the top end of this engine and see if we can find the problem. So since this is a pushrod engine, it should be relatively simple to take apart. There's no cam chain that we need to worry about. I'm just going to go ahead and take the carburetor off, and then we'll undo the head bolts, and hopefully everything will just slide apart. Here's the piston out of the CT200, and there's a little bit of scoring on the side here. It doesn't look too bad. One thing that I did notice is that the rings were pretty well stuck in their grooves, especially the oil control ring. On the cylinder, you can see there's some scoring as well in a couple different places, but really nothing deep. I think a good honing is all this needs. I'll measure it to check to see if it's within spec, but I would imagine it is. This is the cylinder head. I'll probably remove the valves to lap the valve seats and clean the carbon deposits off of the head. Everything looks pretty good with this too, and the push rods didn't look bent at all, so that's good. So with everything apart, I can take a closer look. I'll measure some stuff and probably order some new gaskets and maybe some new parts, and in the next video in this series, we'll probably start putting this thing back together. Here's the cylinder, and I put the rings in there just so that we can check the ring gap, and straight away, without even measuring it, you can see the ring gap is way off. That's way bigger than it should be. Realistically, we should be looking at 14 thousandths for the maximum ring gap. You can see the bottom ring there, that's the oil control ring, is much, much closer. So I'm not sure what happened there, if maybe they were installed incorrectly or adjusted improperly from the very beginning. But I'm definitely going to need some new rings for this engine. The piston shows some marking. If a piston is relatively easy to track down for this engine, I'll just go ahead and buy one. If not, I think we can reuse this one. The cylinder looks like it'll be usable. There doesn't appear to be any deep scratches or scoring. I can clean it up a little bit more with the hone, and we should be pretty good. I do want to check the bore with some bore gauges just to see what the actual diameter is. Thank you all for watching, and if you haven't already, please like and subscribe. In the next couple weeks, I think we'll be able to get the CT200 back together once new parts come in, and hopefully we'll also be able to get some of the other bikes done before riding season starts, so stay tuned.